So I'm going to introduce Stacy Neal with Branding Go, KC, and you guys take it away, girl.
All right. Well, yeah, I'm excited to get this kicked off. It'll be just really a good intro to doing these more in the future. So the idea is that we're going to do one a month, and then we want everybody to leave with about 30 days of content. So this is, if you can't tell, this is Winter Wonderland themed. It's because we are in mid-November and next month is December. So we're getting 30 days of content for December. So that is the idea. So take lots of pictures. We're going to go through kind of a crash. This is a crash course, mini workshop. We do have some more in-depth workshops that we'll be doing, but this is a sneak peek. There's just a couple bullet points. So does everybody have a folder? Okay, so in your folder, each panelist has an outline, super simple bullet points. We're probably going to spend maybe 20 minutes going through everybody. But there is a spot for notes at the bottom of each one. And then each person up here is an expert in all of the areas. So come find one of us after, especially since this is a smaller sneak peek. It's a great time to actually get some more one-on-one time than you would normally get. So come find each expert. So if everybody's got that, I actually have the first page in there. We're talking about brand consistency. So that is what we do is branding, strategy focus about everything about your brand. What is your marketing actually doing for you? Like, what is it bringing in? What's the entire purpose of doing marketing? Why are you doing social media? So it's all about getting your brand consistent. So the first step on anything you do with social media, whether it's even your website, even your Google business, and of course, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, all that stuff. Make sure that you have your brand clearly defined. So we're going to get into a lot more detail on that, but a big thing is, are you consistent on everything? So maybe right now, like in your head or on your paper, just write a checklist of anything that maybe isn't consistent with your branding. Do you have your logo updated on all of your social media sites? So maybe if there's one that you're like, oh, I hate using TikTok, so I probably need to update that. If your audience is there, and come talk to us specifically. But maybe you need to update your logo there. So consistency across everything. Is all your contact info consistent? And whether you have a logo or whatever you're using for your branding, as long as it's consistent, that's a really good place to start. So building your story. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And that is a whole workshop within itself. But you need to really be thinking about what your messaging is. So not from the view of what you're trying to sell someone, but from the view of, okay, your very favorite client that you've ever worked with and that you want a million more of them. What are they going to think when they see whatever it is you're posting? So posting things with them in mind, and then making sure that all your content is tailored around that. So building your story, being clear and concise. Can a third grader understand it? If a third grader couldn't repeat what you just explained what your business is, it's too complicated, and other people are not going to be able, even if they want to, the network connections are not going to have an easy story to share. So that's just a couple quick bullet points. Just staying really consistent and clear with what you're wanting to do. Again, come talk to me if you've got any questions, and we can sit down specifically and talk about some of that stuff and go through it. But that's the first step.
Awesome. So I'm going to continue because there's kind of a little method. And so once you kind of build that story and you know your story, you're going to talk about content pillars. How many of you ever heard of content pillars? Has anybody made content pillars? I always ask because that kind of lets me know how in depth to kind of talk or how not, So content pillars is, I know what you've known in your business, you have to niche it down. You don't want to be talking about my favorite recipe, your business, and the kid down the street playing soccer. I mean, people are going to be, what are they doing? What are they selling? So once you have your niche and you've built your story, you're going to come down and you're going to build what we call content pillars. Since none of you have, really focused in on that today, I'd love to help you. You can stop by. I can even help in just a little more depth. But when you are building those content pillars, I always say just kind of start, with 2 or 3. Most people have 3 to 5, but it depends on what the business is. So I'll be able to help a little more with that and how many content pillars you really want. But that kind of helps niche it down. But then you're not niching it all the way down to where people are like, they feel sold to. So you want to find that, first you're going to identify the core themes like that you want. And this needs to also be about you because you are the brand. As much as you sell, may sell ice cream or you may have a plumber business, that person is connecting with you. Why are they going to choose you over every other plumber? Why are they going to choose your ice cream over all the other ice creams that are there? You are the brand, so they fall in love with you. So when you're building your content pillars, think about your story because that's going to tie into that. For instance, one of mine is faith because I do everything with faith. So I'm able to talk about my faith. I talk about my family. I have a son who's deaf and autistic. And so people relate to that with me through my services that I provide with Kathy Coates Events. So, that brings it in. And then so when I'm talking about my services, they resonate with it. They always know. So that's one of those pillars that I have because they always know, oh, that's Kathy. Oh, that's Kathy. That's how they remember me. And so that's how they need to remember you and your brand and what you sell. So think about, understanding your audience. So now you're going to think, you've got your story. You are identifying their core themes. And so again, you're always thinking about your audience too and what they need. What are their pain points? What is it that you have that provides for them? If it's the plumber, he's going to be able to go fix that clog when it's taken. If it's ice cream, makes every kid happy, right? And so understanding your audience, their pain points, and what makes you stand out that they can come to you. Consistency is the key. You're going to hear all of us talk about that today. Consistency. That's why when Stacy and I met, we're talking about pain points. Actually, she, as branding, and she was helping me because I was pivoting a little bit, coming out of vendor events. Everybody knows me as vendor shows, and I was pivoting more into. I wanted to help small businesses and my vendors be able to reach their audience better because I kept hearing back. The problem is, I don't know what to post. I'm just not consistent. And so we were talking about how can we help make consistency? Well, that's how content and cocktails came up. And we hope that you're going to enjoy today building that, week to 30 days worth of content. And so that would be fun. So consistency is the key. We're going to teach you how to be consistent and not be overwhelmed. Don't feel like, oh my goodness, I'm going to have to post every day now. Just start where you're at. If you're posting once a month, let's do twice a month. If you're posting just once a week, then let's go twice a week. We're just going to increase what you're doing. The big thing is being consistent. Then we'll add more to it. After you start doing that and you're going to play around with your content, you're going to start seeing those pillars. You're going to stay within them. And then you're going to measure and adapt. So using, Meta, if you're using Facebook, there's different things that you can look to see, your engagement and all of that. You may have to tweak it a little bit, but we're able to measure and adapt. So those are those important keys to building a content pillars. All right, I'm going to turn this to my daughter, Genesis, by the way.
I was going to say hello. My name is Genesis. Yeah, my name is Genesis Mariah. I am Kathy's daughter. I've been a content creator and just in the content field for over 5 to 10 years now. I've modeled for over 10 years, and then I started making music and things like that, and then just creating content to put out on my social media. I've always kind of been big on Instagram. Since high school, I had 5,000 followers, and it's accelerated since then. So now I'm sitting at about 11,000 on Instagram and just working my other social media outlets. So today I'm covering batching content for you guys. This is what's going to help really organize, help you be more organized and stress-free from creating content, because content creating is very stressful. And to be able to be consistent as a content creator, you're constantly making content, constantly. So for example, me, I have over 17,000 photos and videos on my phone alone. And on my camera, I have 3 to 5 SD cards maxed out right now. So I'm okay, I need more storage. So one big thing is going to be that extra storage when it comes to your content. That's going to be key for batching, is having that extra room, because when you're dumping off content from, say, a camera, SD card, or even onto your phone or your laptop, it's going to take up a lot of that storage. So first is having that extra storage that you can work with, bigger SD cards to be able to store more content on their hard drives to dump that content off to. That also keeps you from putting a lot of storage on your laptop, which then slows your laptop down a lot. I know, because mine runs very slow. But overall, that's going to be just the first thing before batching, is having that space. Because when it comes to batching your content, the great way to do that is breaking things down into files, folders, different things like that, and titling those off per your content. So say, for example, today, we're at the ACL building, we're making content here today. So what you would do with that content after today is you dump it down into a folder. Nice things about our phones, especially iPhones. For me, I don't know about Androids. But for Apple, we have where you can create actual galleries in your photos and label them, and you can dump your photos or videos into that specific folder. So what I do is I title those per whatever I just recorded. Say I did a podcast or this panel. So each videos or photos that I have, I'll put that into one folder, title that folder ACA building, or even put the date on it, or whatever, kind of keeps you more organized to find that content. This is key because when you're making content and then also editing it, there can be a gap in between the two where you have content that gets in between. So for example, I may record something today but not edit it until later this week, but I take photos and pictures in between. So now I'm like, okay, you don't want to have to scroll through all of your things, trying to find stuff, you'll forget it, lose it. So that's when the batching is just really important, and it helps being way more organized. So when you do start to go to editing, if you edit yourself, or even if you outsource your editing, you at least have all of that content in one place, way easier to find, and it's all put together already. So that's one way of doing it. The same way on the laptops as well, and iPads or other areas that we edit. They all pretty much function the same as being able to make folders, files, things like that. You can back them up into like Google Photos and do the same thing on there. But again, like Google Photos and stuff, the storage goes pretty quickly. So to try to just, keep that, it's like hard drives are great, and you can put those down into folders or on our phones. So I pay extra iCloud storage on my phone. I have like the 2 terabytes, so it's like I never run out, ever. So, but yeah, that's gonna be the best thing. And then another way too is also like there are apps to help you prepare for like releasing it, which kind of goes into the scheduling, which we'll talk about later on. But it allows you to be able to set up to where you can kind of organize and batch how you're going to release that content. So there's an app that I use called Later, if you want to write that down. It's a really great app to use. This is going to be able to allow you to pre-organize your content on how you want to release it. So you're actually able to take and schedule out your content per day or per week on a schedule right there in the app. And it'll actually release that. You can schedule it and it'll release it for you. So you're not having to go in every single day or whatever. So that's a great way to get into scheduling, which that'll be talked on down the line. But that's a great way to batch and kind of organize that content as well too.
Perfect. Well, great segment into scheduling here. My name is Jess Brown. I'm a co-owner of Simply Inspired. Basically, what my business does is anything that you want a shirt, it is yours. I can create custom designs, all of that fun stuff. But talking about scheduling today, obviously, okay, first, raise of hand. How many of you can tell me what you're going to be doing next Thursday morning at 7:30 at night when majority of your audience is online looking at their Facebook, if that's where you post your stuff? Do you guys know? I will probably be sitting at my dinner table eating some pumpkin pie, right? Yes. So I am either going to be way overstuffed and not wanting to get onto my phone or my laptop to post something, or same with that morning. If it is like a, like a happy Thanksgiving, everybody, I am going to be way too busy to do that, or I'm going to set the reminders and I'm going to do so, but that has caused a little bit of a chaos in my day-to-day activities. I am technically not working on Thursday because it is a holiday. So I'm going to take some of my working hours. For me, this is normally like a Monday afternoon. It kind of ends the rest of my work day for Monday. And I write out either on like digitally. What I'm going to have be posted, not for the week, it's actually going to be for a minimum of 10 days in advance. So what we're here hoping for you guys is to get that week to 30 days out, because we want to be able to post. You look at your audience, you look at your algorithms, all of that stuff. You know when your followers are online, that's when you're going to start posting, whether it's 1 post a week or 5 posts a day, whatever feels best for you. You're going to be sitting there, especially if this is kind of like your side hustle, just like mine is. I work in corporate America and I do my Simply Inspired on the side. So obviously my corporate job comes first, and I have to make sure that all of my content is scheduled throughout the day. So that way, guess what, when I sit down and I work on my side hustle, I know that I have brought in some revenue by not necessarily working for my business during those particular hours. I have worked the schedule so that way everything is going out on a timely manner, and I've also programmed it to know when my followers are online. These are great tools that you have at your fingertips if you use social media for your postings. You can easily go in there. Now, you do have to have some data in there first to see what your following are and when they're online, when they're active. It actually tells you how many people have been on your site looking at your stuff, your particular products and services of what you're doing. And then it's easy to go ahead and throw up a post when they are actively online, because then that's going to generate some more leads going into your website and all of that fun stuff. But scheduling is key. You don't want to be scheduling for this evening, or you don't want to be scheduling for tomorrow. There are certain holidays that we know that are going to be coming up. And if you celebrate any of those holidays and your audience also celebrates, it's easy to already have those things pre-scheduled, ready to go. Those I feel like are the easiest ones. So then the content that you're making today, what you just learned from these lovely ladies, is easy to pretty much just put right there, and you don't have to be online, you don't have to be active, anything like that. It is up and it's ready to go for you. So scheduling is key. Please don't think that you're going to be in the moment, you're going to be able to do it. Life is crazy and hectic, things do come up, and so make sure you plan out just a little bit. If it's an hour of your work week, just to look at everything that you have edited, your content, all of that stuff, and just get a game plan. You'll find there's a wonderful calendar at the back of this folder here. Start planning, whether it's 2 days in advance or a month in advance of content that is going to be best for you, and then to have it be scheduled for you. So that's what I have for scheduling. If you want to talk more, please come chit chat with me after this.
All right, so I guess I'm the last one here, but I create content for myself and for other people, and that's how I got into this photography and videography and everything. So today I'm going to talk about creating content. It can be photography, like photos or videos, and usually on the lighting, audio, and the framing. So you don't have to be a professional photographer or videographer to know these tips. Because sometimes for the lighting, what people do is they will take picture anywhere, anyhow, and thinking, okay, I'll brighten this up later, but it does not work this way, because when you try to brighten it up, it just gets grainy or it gets really weird. So make sure it's well lit. It can be in front of the window or outside or any place that has nice lighting. Don't just leave it for later. And for the audio, just make sure there is not a lot of background noise, because right now it's quiet, right? But if it's like coffee time, it's like there are tons of people talking. So make sure, or if you are outside, because you'll see a lot of traffic, so make sure it's a quiet place, so people, because you are creating content and people want to listen to you, not the other traffic or everything. So either it's quiet, or you can buy a wireless microphone that you can use. There are some professional ones too, but there are some really cheap options available on Amazon as well. And the last thing is framing. So just make sure it's framed right, because sometimes people, like when I ask people, can you like make a video of me. I'm gonna be speaking today, and like my head is cut off. Like that's the bottom of the frame, and that's the top of the frame. I'm like, I cannot use this. It's like I don't have a body. My head is speaking. Or sometimes like they cut off right here, and like this. Like it does not make sense. So make sure it's properly this way. Or if you have product, it's like little headroom, little leg room or something. And also some people like, and sometimes I like putting the subject, whether it's person or product, in the middle of the shot. Depends on how it looks, but usually like a little to the left, a little to the right, or on the bottom third or top third position, so it's not as centered all the time. Sometimes it looks good, and also on the content side, just make sure that you create content that other people would like to watch.